Welcome to Machine Shop Tech Talk, or welcome back to Machine Shop Tech Talk. If it isn't your first time here, in manufacturing, it's not when, but if something goes wrong. And this is a podcast interviewing leaders from around the world that are making a difference today. Today's a little bit different flavor. I've got my guest, Ryan McGehee. Oh man, I'm going to mess that up. You're going to tell me your last name when I get you on here. I've got Ryan on. He's going to say his last name, and this is a little bit different. We're going to talk about how this young man has gotten into the position he's in, and we might dig into a little bit of his love of going fast, see if that ties in to starting it up. Hey, Ryan, I'm so glad you're here. Man, can you start by pronouncing your last name for me? Because I totally just buggered it up.
Absolutely, Arthur. Thank you for having me on today. I am Ryan McGehee, located down in Evansville, Indiana, working with EMI Quality Plating.
Awesome. And so what are you doing right now? We'll unpack how you got there, but what's your current role at EMI Plating right now?
Current role right now is I am listed in as the plant engineer of EMI Quality Plating, and I also help oversee our developing and growing machine shop currently.
Man, that's a lot of responsibility. And I don't mean to insult you or put you on the spot, but how old are you?
I am 23 years old.
Man, so you got to be doing something right. So for the young people that are out like, man, I really want to lead a company, they need to be listening in to this conversation as we dig in, because I will guarantee it's no accident that you're in the role you're in right now.
There's definitely been a lot of hard work behind it, but I've also been very blessed with some opportunities from very great people in my life that have helped me get into the position I am at only 23.
Wow, listen to that gratitude too though. That doesn't come by accident either. So let's kind of wind back here. When you were in high school, did you know that you were going into manufacturing? Like, has that always been your plan? What did that look like?
I definitely had an idea that I was interested in something in the whole realm of manufacturing. My dad has been an estimator for Evansville sheet metal for now over 30 years, and I've always found a great interest into the manufacturing industry. I really like being able to work with my hands, develop a product, and see it go into place and be able to be put into action in some kind of capacity or another, whether it's aerospace, defense, automotive, you name it. There's always something cool that manufacturing will lead you to.
Yeah, that I got here by accident, but I love the ability to create, to put something into reality, and I love that that's what you drew you in. So in high school, did you take anything to prepare for your career then?
I did, yes. Freshman year, I signed up for Intro to Design with one of my favorite teachers of all time, Mr. Rob Dieters, here at Castle High School, and I was hooked immediately.
Ooh.
Rob started us from the very beginning, drawing prints, saying, "Hey, this is where the manufacturing process starts. You have to understand this. You have to read the ruler."
Yeah.
And to be able to start there and start to build, it's a very fun process to work from ground zero all the way up.
That's so cool. So through high school, did you make anything then?
Yes.
Do you still have any of them?
I do. Yes. Yep. We started with just a simple paperweight on the lathe as our first project after we got through the design process, and we built all the way up to making our own personal clamp that Rob helped us engrave and got to really personalize it as our first big project, an entire assembly that we got to put together ourselves.
That is so cool. I love that you still have these things too. It's something I wish I would have had kept more of in my machining career because I've got like nothing,
I
man.
understand. Very, very exciting things to definitely hold on to and be able to look back on and say, hey, I started out there, and to be able to know what I get to make nowadays. It's very cool to see how everything builds on each other.
It really, really is. So, out of high school, were you able to get work right away?
I was blessed enough that in between my junior and senior year, Stellar Technologies reached out to me and offered me a position to begin CNC machining with them.
Oh.
Started out on manual mills, manual lathes, but did a little bit of button pushing and got to be introduced to Fusion 360 thanks to Titan Gilroy
Yeah.
and the awesome Titans of CNC Building Block series. Basically, in a weekend, I was to my next point of being able to start designing, programming, and I got to be running a CNC machine within my first few months there.
Yeah, and to anyone listening or watching us right now, if you're not familiar with that program, it is still free access. He's got Fusion in there. He's also added Mastercam as well, I believe, and he's working on a ton of free education. So if you're curious, there's tons of resources for you to educate yourself and equip yourself. And like Ryan, leverage those skills so that you're developing to advance your career. And I'm thinking that's kind of what's helped you here so far.
Absolutely, yes.
So you were at Stellar. How long were you at Stellar?
I was employed for Stellar Technologies from 2019 until actually just last year. Last year, Jake Stocks of EMI Quality Plating and a local racer, Doug Dool, had brought together the idea of, hey, there's always been a big racing need for machining around here.
Mhm.
And we thought, okay, well, why don't we start small with accessories and build up from there? So, because of all that and the awesome people I've been around, Jake offered me a position to start building with EMI plating in a very small role in what was only a single machine shop,
Yeah.
mainly a plating facility. And we've started now and we're a year in and very greatly building. And I've also been able to learn a little bit of plating while I've been at it. So, very cool to see the whole process come together.
I like watching you light up. For people that aren't watching us on video right now, you can see Ryan's face, just the way he's smiling, the way he's all lit up as he's sharing his story. So, what was it like getting that opportunity? Was it easy to say yes to? Was it just like, oh yeah, let's do this? Or what was that like for you? Because I mean,
Really,
ugh.
there's a lot of thought that goes into it because obviously with Stellar, I am in a very stable role as a machinist where I know what I'm doing. I know that we have good, reputable customers. I know what jobs we're going to accept. I know what's coming.
Mhm.
Whenever we went to EMI, Jake was willing to take the opportunity on me to start basically from ground zero.
Mhm.
He he had plenty of background with machining, die casting, so he knew that there was a very good possibility that we could start and things would take off. He gave me the opportunity, and obviously, very nerve wracking for me to say I'm stepping out of something very stable to go into something that's not necessarily stable, but I've got a really good ground to build with, and I've got what I could ask for as the best boss to be able to work with me and give me this opportunity to move forward.
Yeah, and it does take a special kind of leader like that, like Jake, to see the capacity in you and to want to nurture that and give you the opportunity, right?
Absolutely.
So there's no discounting that. And shout out to him for seeing that in you and giving you the opportunity. And I mean, it seems to be working. I know we were talking earlier about how busy you are. So you said you started with accessories. Is that still the focus at EMI, or have you started branching out into products and other stuff like that?
Absolutely. No, we're really, I mean, we don't want to stop anywhere. We're going to look into anything. We've recently kind of come into some defense work. We've been looking into some, hopefully, some medical field work.
Oh,
Aerospace has always been a big thing, especially with the plating side. So
yeah.
that's been great to incorporate in with our machine shop. And we've recently also been in with automotive facilities, and we're currently actually in process of a big automotive multi-thousand piece job that we're working on currently.
That is exciting. So with the plating, I mean, it's awesome that you can offer in-house machining and the plating. I was a machinist for many years, and one of the issues we would have is that if the wrong guy ran the job, it would go to plating and then we wouldn't be able to get it plated properly.
Correct.
Or we would get it back from plating and the dimensions would be all out of skew because the guy doing the plating forgot to tell us, oh, actually, this type of plating is thicker than normal. Please remove more meat. They didn't tell
Absolutely.
us anything. They just said, oh, you want that plating? Okay, cool. Send it over.
Right.
They forgot to say, hey, yeah, be 3 thou under tolerance because otherwise you're not going to be to spec anymore. So, has that been beneficial then for your clients? Is all the machining work getting plated at the end, or is it only some of it?
So not all of our machining work goes to plating, and of course, not all plating work comes through machining.
Yeah.
But it does seem to be very beneficial, even for our plating only or machining only customers, that we understand the front end and back end concept of, like you said, we know that tolerances are extremely critical, especially with some of the aerospace, the defense, the medical parts,
Mhm.
and we feel like we can really relay that to the customer in a way that it makes sense to them. I can help try to branch the machining side. Jake and Jovan Wiggins, our COO of the plating shop, help bring in and branch over the plating side, and we feel like we can offer a product that is really a top of the line and make it in an offer to our customers to where they can understand that we understand their process, we understand the criticalness of these parts, and we can branch it all together into one.
Yeah, and it's bringing that expertise. I don't know if I've ever met anyone that's actually combined machining and plating in the same facility. So it's a very unique combination that you've created over at EMI.
Absolutely. This is, and again, thanks to
Yeah.
Jake for this opportunity. This has been a very exciting, really an entire new business that we feel like we can offer, and just offering that turnkey product to a customer that we feel like we can do a turnaround in times that are just unheard of, since we can go from machining, we do our final inspection out of the machine shop, and I drop it right into the hands of the platers and say, platers, here's what we need, this is how we need to deliver, this is when we need to deliver, and we can make sure that we fulfill it all together as a team in the end.
Oh, wow. I love that combination. So I have no doubt that you're going to continue to see the growth. I'm curious though, are you doing all of this with one machine tool or have you expanded at all?
As of right now, we still only have one machine,
Okay.
but we're basically to the point that we are booked up pretty good on it, and we are already kind of looking down the other avenues of machine two, maybe even machine three, and what do we expand to next? Do Jake and I need to discuss? Maybe we need to potentially put another mill on the ground.
Hmm.
Do we need to start looking into a turning center? Maybe an EDM needs to be in. We are discussing with customers. We're trying to look at future and potential growth and see how we can best be ready to suit our customers and have really any kind of opportunities that we need right at our fingertips, and bring it in and start taking care of customers.
Yeah, well, and that's such a smart mindset to have, Ryan, where you're not like, oh, yeah, we're just going to go buy this machine. No, no, no. We're talking to our customers and seeing what other product lines maybe you could take on and what other opportunities you might have if you have the equipment that they need for that. A lot of people don't get that. They're just like, oh, yeah, we're going to go buy another machine. How did you determine what you're going to buy?
Absolutely.
Like a lot of people, they don't have the mindset that you have. They just go, oh, okay, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. So I think that's going to be more successful for you, man. Seriously, that is so cool.
Absolutely. We're very excited about that, and to see the excitement with our customers, and to do all the forecasting together, work together, is that really not as a customer and supplier, but almost as a team to say, look, we are willing to provide. You just tell us whatever you guys feel like you need, and we want to try to be the ones to fulfill that for you.
Yeah, and keep building that partnership. You're like the plating and machining arm of their companies at this point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And we want to see our customers grow as much as we want to continue to grow ourselves. So it's a very good, awesome avenue to work down with our awesome customers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk quickly before we wrap up, and I've still got that special question I mentioned I'm going to ask you at the end. How on earth did you get involved with all those cars behind you on the wall, man?
Ever since I was a little kid, my dad and grandpa have always been into race cars and going fast. Grandpa started whenever he was a kid. Dad got involved in it, and during high school, my dad's first car was the 1967 Firebird that you actually see on the wall behind me.
Oh,
So
so cool.
him Yes, him and my grandpa built it. He drove it to high school. From high school, it became a race car. And as I graduated out of the ranks of junior dragsters as a little kid, that's always been my dream. I wanted to step into the Firebird and get my opportunity to race it. So, been very exciting, and definitely the hobby that I love doing most.
Yes. So do you race the Firebird now? Did you accomplish that dream?
I do.
Oh man,
Yes. Yep.
that's
I've now been racing the Firebird for probably 5 or 6 years, and it's been a blast. We've added a second car to the fleet. I also have a dragster that we race, 540 big block. A lot of fun.
oh
I mean, it's two completely different animals, but a lot of fun. Really fulfills the need for speed.
Okay, so I've got two follow up questions before we move on. But what's the fastest you've gone in the Firebird? And then I want to know how fast have you gone in that 540 big block because, oof.
In the Firebird in the eighth mile, we have been 609 at 114 mile an hour. And in the quarter, we have been 967 at right at 140.
oh
The dragster in the eighth mile, we have been right at 490 at 139 mile an hour. And I have actually not made a full pass in the dragster to the quarter, but I do believe in the shutoff run I made at Bowling Green that I saw somewhere in the realm of 160 mile an hour, and we still, even on the shutoff run, we were still at 8.2 seconds.
Whew. Okay. How does it feel? Okay, I lied. There's one other question. How does it feel to be in that 540, even for the eighth, to go that ridiculously fast?
It is unreal. Truthfully, the quarter versus the eighth, it is a completely different experience. That eighth mile to happen in less than 5 seconds, the first pass that I made, I was not ready for it. That 60 feet will hit you in a hurry. 60 feet in 1.08 seconds is insane. There's no way to describe it.
60 feet in the okay, for anyone that else that's not competing in your sport, and I don't mean to insult, but 60 feet in a second. Okay, 60 feet in what, like, you can't even sneeze as fast as this car, like 60 feet.
It is unreal. You cannot prepare for it. You have basically, as the driver, you have to have eyes on the finish line to be able to let your brain comprehend how fast you are moving and how fast you're going to get to that distance.
Yeah.
If not, you feel like you're running over yourself.
That is wild. I love that you've got a hobby. And I mean, going fast and the adrenaline, it's exciting to me just hearing you talk about it. So I can only
Absolutely.
imagine what you get to experience in that cockpit. I know I like watching
Absolutely.
fast races, but I've never been the one in the seat. That's so crazy.
It it is crazy. And on the back end, of course, we get to turn around and incorporate the machining with the racing all together, and that's the most exciting part. I get to say to all my
Yeah.
friends that are racing, it's like, oh yeah, I made that piece that's on the car. Oh hey, you want one? Guess what? We'll just turn around, and machine it, we'll plate it, and I can bring it to the racetrack next weekend.
That is
I was going to ask, have you made parts that are on your car right now?
Yes, yep, we have made multiple parts, mainly accessories, but
yeah.
yes, it's a blast to be able to really bring and merge both of my worlds together and see it all come together as one.
Yeah, it's something I love about manufacturing is whatever you're interested in, whether it's crazy fast cars or whatever it is, you can find a way to be involved in the manufacturing of it. Even if it's not like yourself, they don't choose the machining path. They can still find a
Right.
way to be involved in manufacturing of it. And manufacturing,
Abs-
last time I checked, we need like 2 million bodies like yesterday. Speaking
yes.
of the bodies, with how many people we need in manufacturing, Ryan, my last question for you here is if there's young people out there that maybe catch this clip, because they'll probably catch the clip and not the full episode. Let's be real. Hopefully, they catch the full episode after because I love this conversation. But what would you say to the young people out there, whether they're in middle school, high school, whatever? What would your advice be if they're looking for a fulfilling career path?
You know, I have been very blessed that my teacher that I actually addressed earlier in the episode, Rob Dieters, has got a new position with an awesome, brand new local machine shop called Work Pathways Career Center that is available for our high school students. He has really brought it off the ground, and I've actually had the opportunity to go in and speak to the
Oh,
kids.
cool.
And I want to encourage them, even though it seems like a lot to start, if you are interested and it seems like it is at all something that you would just love to do, stick with it. It is worth it. I know a lot of the kids see, well, I'm just ready to jump into CNC. Spend a little time on the back end, learn the manual side.
Mm.
The CNC life becomes easy. It just comes easy to you. Use your resources, use your titans of CNC, and keep moving forward. It is so rewarding in the end to know that you're running something that is, it may be a quarter of half a million, $1 million piece of equipment to get to make and produce parts that are used every day in our industry. Very cool. Stick with it. It is an awesome opportunity. Jump on it while you're in high school and you can build. And we actually have hired in 2 students out of that class. They're 18 years old,
Yeah.
working full time in our machine shop right now.
I love that message. It's a beautiful message. I hope they all got that, and I'll do my best to clip it up to make sure that they get that, but also that you are already giving to your time to the youth in your area to speak to them directly. So for anyone out there that's not currently getting into your local schools, please, it makes such a difference. I take my time to do that. Ryan, a young man who's running the machining side of his company, he's taking his time to do it. You can take your time to do it too, because that's one of the ways we're going to get more humans into manufacturing and keep building our
Absolutely.
future here in North America. So, Ryan, thank you so much for being on the podcast and sharing a little bit of your journey with us here, man.
Arthur, thank you for the opportunity. I greatly appreciate it. It's great people like you that give us younger guys the opportunity to move forward. We're seeing companies jump in around here. Corey Bossy with Shunk, Jay Dowdy with Frasia. They've been great reps for me now for a
Nice.
couple of years. They've jumped in on the Career Center. It is awesome to see the older generation give back to this younger generation and keep building and moving forward. That's how we're going to build this.
100%, man. Well, that's the end of the episode for today. Thank you again to Ryan for being here, for sharing his story. And this is your call. This is your reminder. Get out there, get into your schools, get into your local communities. Not one of us can do it alone, but if we all work together, we will make a difference. And to my machining friends out there, keep your spindles turning and earning.